This is the Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast. We have assembled the world's finest sports and trivia dorks to prove once and for all that we are just as bad at this as we were at sports.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast, sports trivia for those of us who rode the pine. I'm your host, Josh, and episode 313 will feature the Benchwarmer team of Mason and Scott versus Benchwarmer Emeritus Dan and Newcomer Colin Ireland. Welcome to the bench, Colin. Why don't you take a minute to let us know where you're from, what teams you root for, and anything else you'd like to share.
What's going on? It's an honor to be on here, guys. I am originally from St. Paul, Minnesota. That's where me and Dan met. We were a killer trivia team back in the day at the old TGI Fridays in Roseville, probably one of the Four Horsemen. But now I currently live in Haines City, Florida, which is a suburb of Orlando, halfway in between Lakeland and Orlando, Florida.
Wonderful. Well, we're glad to have you. Dan, welcome back to you, too.
Hey.
Let us know how you're doing and what Colin's and your team name is going to be.
Hey, I'm happy to be here. When Colin reached out to me and said that he wants to get on the show, I said, absolutely. And I'm going to be your partner that night. And we're going to have a blast doing this. So the very first time I ever went to trivia, very first time, I was with my brother and our wives, and we tied the bar record that night. And then my brother and his wife went back to Nevada, and Lindsay, my wife, said she didn't want to do this. So I came back the next week and played by myself, and didn't do very well. But I was invited to join another group that night, and it turned out that group was just that was amazing. We decided there were four of us that night, and we just decided we were going to be the Four Horsemen, and that was our team, and we were the Four Horsemen for years. After that, two of them aren't with us right now, so Colin and I are going to actually be two of the members of the Four Horsemen, and we're going to be instead the Minnesota Wrecking Crew.
All right. And Mason and Scott, let us know how you guys are doing and what your team name is.
I'm doing well. So as of the day recording, LSU baseball has won their 8th national championship, which is kind of incredible considering it's been the last 34 years they've won 8. Crazy run they've been on. Plus, also, if you watch the game, that first inning was just insane that the Coastal Carolina coach and the first base coach both got thrown out. I don't even know what happened. I don't even we still know what happens. They just got thrown out for something. But yeah, otherwise, that's pretty much all I did. I just watched baseball this afternoon. That was it.
Scott?
Yeah, I'm good too. It's been a very eventful day of sports, the day that we're recording this on June 22nd. Obviously, LSU won the championship. There was a Kevin Durant trade. And of course, as we speak, Game 7 of the NBA Finals is at halftime. I have my Indiana Pacers hat on. I have my Reggie Miller jersey on in support of the Pacers. Regardless of what happens in this game, I just want to say on the podcast here, thank you to the Pacers for reigniting the enjoyment that I've had in the NBA that I've been missing for a while. Watching this team play, particularly in the playoffs, has been really special for me. With that being said, with Mason and I on a team, I ran out of Saints wide receivers that I cared about to do a remember fill-in-the-blank Saints wide receiver team name. So then I moved to the Pelicans. I don't know if they've ever had a player that I really care about, so that didn't really work either. But as we are right in the throes of the NBA offseason, and there's a lot of chatter about what's going on with New Orleans, Mason and I are in agreement, and our team name today will be Trade Zion.
So you sent it over with all caps. Is it more of an exclamation? Is this are you going full Trump on it where it's a shout at me? Trade Zion? Is that no?
It's not at you. It's at the organization.
It's a command. It's a command for the organization.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we have the Minnesota Wrecking Crew versus Trade Zion. And let's kick it over to the younger version of Dan for the rules.
The game will consist of 4 quarters of play, each with different trivia style. The styles of quarters 1 through 3 will change from show to show, and I will explain them as we go along. Like any good sporting event, we will have a halftime show after the second quarter with entertainment questions. And in the fourth quarter, our teams will wager from their points accumulated to see who are today's clipboard captains, to be honored like the true benchwarmers they are. All right, let's get this game underway. And I've had a rough patch since then, obviously. I sound much, much younger there.
All right. Today's first quarter will be Sporting Haikus.
Sporting Haikus. For this quarter, there will be 4 questions in haiku form. Each question is worth 25 points.
Haiku 1. Career Twins leader. K's per 9, he's active. First name for last name.
We'll check in.
All right, Minnesota Wrecking Crew, not surprisingly, has checked in. So Trade Zion, you guys can talk it out.
Hashtag too much Minnesota, but I'm going to let it slide because I like Colin and he's new. Joe Ryan popped in my head just because of first name for last name, and he's active, and he's a decent strike. I don't know that he's like a top strikeout pitcher, but I don't really follow the Twins enough to know that. Doesn't have to be active on the Twins, obviously.
Right. I don't mind it.
Who's the closer? Rogers, right? Taylor Rogers. He was their closer like for a while. He's someone I guess that could be up there as well. Like a lot of times it's relievers just because the K per 9 numbers.
Right.
But I'm also fine going Joe Ryan if we can't think of anyone else that makes sense.
I mean, also I feel like Ryan is a much more common first name than Rogers. Unless you're talking about Rogers Hornsby.
Rogers Hornsby, yeah.
Yeah, I was saying that's the only one I can think of on the top of my head.
There need to be more Rogers out there. I don't know how to.
Rogers is.
Yeah, I don't know how to. But there need to be more people with the first name of Rogers. Let's go Joe Ryan then.
Yeah, I'm good with it.
All right, we're gonna check in with Joe Ryan.
All right, and Minnesota Wrecking Crew, what'd you guys have for an answer?
Joe Ryan's having himself a career, really. But yeah, he's it's definitely Joe Ryan. That last name is a first name, and he's having a year. Let's just say that.
Well, both teams are getting their points. Correct answer is Joe Ryan. Ryan strikes out 10.0 batters per 9 innings pitched. He is followed by Johan Santana with 9.5, Francisco Liriano 9.1, Jose Barrios 9.0, and Bailey Ober 8.9. So Joe Ryan is absolutely a strikeout guy. That's
Oh yeah.
he was known for that as he was when we traded for him in the minors. He was a strikeout guy.
Hard to believe that Nelson Cruz trade would get Joe Ryan for us. That was a crazy trade. That was a good one. Even though I love Nelson Cruz, that was a great trade.
Totally agree. All right, let's move on to haiku number 2. No go in MD. Kentucky and New York wins. 2 of 3. Not bad.
Is this a Meatloaf reference?
Oh, hi, Mom.
Okay, we'll check in.
All right, Trade Zion has checked in, so Minnesota Wrecking Crew, you guys can talk it out.
Okay, so I don't understand this at all. MD Maryland?
2 out of the 3 parts of it I can get, but yeah, the MD part I'm not quite sure on.
I mean, Kentucky and New York are two of the places that Karl-Anthony Towns have landed. And if this is another Minnesota question, that might be it, but I have no idea where the MD would come from.
Yeah, I mean, Kentucky, you would think basketball for sure.
Just to get us out of this, I say we go Karl-Anthony Towns.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
All right, we're going to check that in.
Okay, and Trade Zion, what did you guys have for an answer?
Okay, so yeah, part of it was parsing what this question's asking, but Scott and I kind of think what I'm guessing this is because when I think of a set of 3 with Maryland, Kentucky, and New York, I thought of horse racing, and so this is a horse that won 2 out of the 3 Triple Crown. I don't know about the others, but I know the winner of the Kentucky Derby, and I guess that's good enough for this. So we checked in with Sovereignty.
One team is getting their points. The correct answer is Sovereignty. So yes, you guys deciphered it properly. Maryland, Kentucky, and New York, which are the 3 states where the Triple Crown races are run. So journalism won the 2025 Preakness Stakes, in which Sovereignty didn't race. So That's why 2 out of 3, not bad. 2 or 3,
My head went to Karl-Anthony Towns at first, and then I was like, no going MD. I was like, no going MD was like, well, who failed as a doctor? I was trying to figure out like,
If Carl Anthony Towns is a doctor, that would be frightening. So yeah.
Well, I'd rather have Karl-Anthony Towns and his hands operate on me than Rudy Gobert and his brick hands. I wouldn't want him holding a scalpel.
Or a horse, for that matter. You don't want that.
Or a horse, yeah.
Haiku number 3. Hall of Fame teammates. 2 championships jointly. Class of 25.
We'll check in.
All right. Minnesota Wrecking Crew has checked in. So Trade Zion, you guys can talk it out briefly.
this is rough. We haven't even narrowed down a sport. We think it's not baseball.
I can name all 5 of the people getting inducted, and it's they have no overlap.
Check that off the list. All
So
right.
that's off, but then it's just like, where does this go otherwise?
It's more likely to be basketball.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, I just don't know who. That's why I asked about like Wade and Bosch, but that doesn't work.
No, I kind of like your most recent suggestion. We think this might be WNBA.
I feel like, yeah, have we missed a sport?
But the one thing I'll say, the last one you just sent, Simone Augustus, I'm almost certain is in. I think because I want to say it was a couple years ago because she's a big deal around here, and I feel like I remember her being in.
The Minnesota connection made me think, could this be Maya Moore and someone?
Yeah.
But
Sue Bird and Lauren Jackson's very possible too,
yeah,
because I think they won a couple championships.
won at least 2. It might be more than 2, but maybe that's their best bet.
I don't know the rest of the Hall of Fame induction classes enough, but I'm good with whatever combo you want to go for that.
Yeah, I mean, the Simone Augustus thing makes sense that she's probably already been in. So I think with that, like, we'll check in with Sue Bird and Lauren Jackson.
Okay. And Minnesota Wrecking Crew, what you guys have for an answer?
We're gonna go in the same sport, but we're gonna go Maya Moore and Sylvia Fowles.
Well, one team is receiving their points. Hashtag Too Much Minnesota. The correct answers are Sylvia Fowles and Maya Moore. And they will be enshrined on September 6th. Simone Augustus was inducted last year, and she was on all 4 of the championship teams along with Maya Moore. But Sylvia Fowles was only there for the last 2.
I thought Sylvia Fowles was still in the league.
Man, I should have picked Simone Augustus' teammate at LSU, Sylvia Fowles.
There you
Why
go.
didn't you remember her?
That Lynx team has at least 4 Hall of Famers now. That
Was Whalen in yet?
Whalen's in, and Augustus is in, and then Moore and Fowles are going in. I don't think they probably have any more, but having 4 off of that squad, or those squads, is pretty impressive. Let's move on to Haiku number 4. This one is a Dan special. Beat by Zhao Jingtong, World Snooker Championship, 3-time champ from Wales.
Nope, I'm out. Good luck, Mason.
I can name snooker players, but I don't know if I can give you the answer to this question.
You pick one and check it in.
I can name a couple.
I can name one. Zhao Jingtong.
I'm gonna check in.
Okay. Minnesota Wrecking Crew has checked in. So, Trade Zion, do you guys have an answer?
I know 2 names. So the first one's Ronnie O'Sullivan. That's too obvious of an answer. He's won a bunch of championships. Like, he's one of the GOATs, especially in the modern game. So I'm going to name the other one that I know. I'm pretty sure he's British, though, so I don't think it's him. But it's the only other name I can pull out of my head. So we're going to check in with Judd Trump.
Okay. And Minnesota Wrecking Crew, what do you guys have for an answer?
Okay, so I knew that it wasn't Ronnie O'Sullivan and it wasn't Judd Trump, or else I would have been in on that. I think, and we're gonna go Jeopardy rules on this. I think the answer is Williams. I think we're gonna go Lucky Williams on this. I'm pretty sure I remember that, but I don't remember his first name. So if you need me to do that, then no.
I don't need you to, but you want to take a guess at his first name?
No.
Okay. Well, one team is getting their points because the correct answer is Mark Williams.
The basketball player for the
Plays
Hornets?
for the Hornets center. He got almost traded to the Lakers.
Zhao also beat 7-time champion Ronnie O'Sullivan in the semifinals. So pretty good bona fides there to take out a 7-time and then a 3-time champ. All right. Well, we have come to the end of Sporting Haikus, and we have the following scores. Trade Zion is at 50 points, and Minnesota Wrecking Crew just a little bit farther ahead at 75.
We wanted to let you know that we are on Patreon if you'd be interested in supporting us financially. Your contributions will be used to help us cover the costs that it takes to bring you the high-quality sports trivia you have come to expect from us. There's also some great perks that come with the Patreon membership to the Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast, including bonus episodes and Benchwarmers swag. You can find us at patreon.com/benchwarmerstp. Thanks.
Today's second quarter will be The Missing Link.
The Missing Link. This quarter will consist of 5 questions with theme-linked answers. The teams will attempt to answer the questions and guess the theme. Each question is worth 20 points. If a team checks in first via chat to the host with the correct theme before the 5th question, they will earn 100 points. The other team can still earn 50 points with the correct theme guess. If neither team has checked in with the correct theme before the 5th question, each team can earn 50 points with the correct answer to the theme after the 5th question.
Dan, you don't look happy about this, Dan.
Most people are not.
I'm on a not a very good tear on this right now. So,
Question 1. What player became the 3rd rookie ever to be named the World Series MVP in 2022?
yeah, we'll check in.
All right. Minnesota Wrecking Crew has checked in, so Trade Zion, you guys can talk it out.
22 Houston.
Yeah, so that would be.
Is it Jeremy Pena?
Yeah, I was
Right.
trying to pull his name. I was like, I could see him, but yeah. I think he was an MVP and he was young.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was a rookie. Josh, we're going to check in with Jeremy Pena.
Okay, and Minnesota Wrecking Crew, what'd you guys have for an answer?
The same. Jeremy Pena.
Well, both teams are getting their points. The correct answer is Jeremy Pena. Pena was also named MVP of the ALCS that season, becoming the first AL player to earn both MVP awards in the same year. There have been 8 NL players to accomplish the feat. Okay, moving on to question 2 in the missing link. What Hall of Fame center became the second player to be named the NBA MVP and NBA Rookie of the Year in the same season in 1968? He would go on to win NBA Finals MVP in 1978 for the team he played his entire career with.
We'll check it.
Okay, Trade Zion with a quick check-in, so Minnesota Wrecking Crew, you guys can talk it out.
78 is the Bullets. Wes Unseld.
Yeah, that actually sounds right.
I mean, if it is, I'm pretty sure it's the Bullets, and if it's the Bullets, then it's got to be Wes Unseld.
He only played for one team too, so.
Yeah. All right, we'll check in Wes Unseld.
Okay, and Trade Zion, what'd you guys have for an answer?
The fact that he was Rookie of the Year and MVP and the time frame made sense, so we went with Wes Unseld as well.
Both teams are getting points. Correct answer is Wes Unseld. Wilt Chamberlain is the only other player to win MVP and Rookie of the Year in the same season. Unseld would go on to coach the Bullets from 1987 to 1994 as an assistant and head coach. So everything he did in the NBA was for the Bullets. I think they were still the Bullets when he was coaching, right? They didn't change until after 94.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they changed
Wizards.
they changed in like 96, 97.
All right. The theme-linked answers thus far are Jeremy Pena and Wes Unseld. Moving on to question 3. What Minnesota Viking wide receiver caught a 45-yard pass from Gus Frerotte and would run the remaining 54 yards to score a 99-yard touchdown in 2008?
I got it. I'm checking in on it.
All right.
All right. No surprise, Minnesota Wrecking Crew's checked in. So Trade Zion, you guys can talk it out.
Man, I feel like we should know this because 99-yard touchdowns
Right, they don't have him very often.
are pretty uncommon. Like I've definitely watched YouTube videos of like
Of all of
every
them.
99-yard touchdown. Is this Bernard Berrien?
I was thinking him too.
He's the name that came to mind first for me.
Because I mean, Who else would have been there in 08? Because this would have
Right, that's
been
before Sidney Rice, right?
right. Percy Harvin.
Yeah. All right, Josh, we're gonna check in with Bernard Berrien.
Okay, and Minnesota Wrecking Crew, what did you guys have for an answer?
The same.
Both teams will be getting their points. The correct answer is Bernard Berrien. Berrien is one of 13 players to be on the receiving end of a 99-yard pass play. So yeah, not a lot of them. So there wasn't a whole lot. If you've watched videos, it couldn't be too long of a video.
It wasn't a long video. Yeah, exactly.
And
Yeah.
no surprise, it's the only one that Gus Frerotte was part of. Although,
Yeah.
when I looked at the list, I don't think there were any quarterbacks who did it more than once.
Well, how long was Darnold's to Jefferson? Was that 97 this year?
It was really close. Yeah.
Yeah, it was 97. I think sounds right.
All right. Well, our theme-linked answers thus far are Jeremy Pena, Wes Unseld, and Bernard Berrien. Moving on to question 4. What golfer who won the 1992 Masters tournament became the second player to win the Players' Championship twice in 1996?
We're going to check in.
All right, Minnesota Wrecking Crew has checked in, so Trade Zion, you guys can talk it out.
Yeah, so this has come down to name 90s golfers.
Yeah. So, of the, I sent a couple of names. I think won a Masters is Fred Couples, but I don't know if it was 92. I don't know. He may have won 2 Players Championships. It's very possible.
Let's just go for it. Yeah, why not? We don't have anything better.
'Cause Fred and Couples could both be part of very excellent themes that Josh has come up with. So, fine. Go with it. Fred Couples.
All right, and Minnesota Wrecking Crew, what do you guys have for an answer?
I also said Fred Couples. I'm pretty sure that's when he won it. It was pretty early in the 90s, and for other reasons, I thought that might be Fred Couples.
Well, both teams are getting their points because the correct answer is Fred Couples. 6 other golfers have won a second Players' Championship since, with Rory McIlroy being the most recent this year, and Jack Nicklaus won 3. He was the first to win 2, and then he won a third. All right, the theme-linked answers thus far are Jeremy Pena, Wes Unseld, Bernard Berrien, and Fred Couples. All right, then we'll move on to question 5, and to let you know, neither team has got a theme correct yet. So what I'm going to give you as a little hint is, as this answer is a double clue. Question 5 in the missing link. What silver medalist in the men's 200-meter event at the Mexico City Olympics, who held the Oceania 200-meter record for more than 56 years, received a posthumous apology from his country in 2012?
We're going to check in.
All right, Minnesota Wrecking Crew has checked in, so Trade Zion, you guys can talk it out briefly.
So we only have one thing, and I don't know why this name sticks out in my head as a name. So this is the 68 Olympics, John Carlos, Tommy Smith, and it's the Australian guy with him. For some reason, the name Peter Norman stuck in my head, and I don't even know why.
The very Australian sounding name.
Right. We're going to probably just go with Norman, because I don't even know, but for some reason when I heard this, the name popped in my head for no reason. Yeah. So I'm just going to check it with Norman.
All right, and Minnesota Wrecking Crew, what do you guys have for an answer?
I also checked in with Norman. I couldn't come up with the first name. Peter sounds right, but that's what we checked in with.
All right, well, both teams are getting their points because the correct answer is Peter Norman. Norman's Oceania record was bested by 0.02 of a second in 2024 by an Australian sprinter named Gout Gout.
Sounds painful.
Yeah.
All right, so the theme-linked answers are Jeremy Pena, Wes Unseld, Bernard Berrien, Fred Couples, and Peter Norman. And remember, the last answer of Peter Norman is a double clue. Okay, by the way, oddly enough, you gave me the same theme that the other team provided.
No way. No way.
Yes.
Only 2
It is not members of Limp Bizkit. I will put that out there right now. That is not
Well,
the
two
theme.
of them are.
He'd have had DJ Dozier on this list or something
Well,
like that.
DJ Lethal's first name might be Norman. I don't know.
Fred
Yeah.
would have been the giveaway, though. Fred would have been the giveaway. That's the
so
problem.
listeners, the answer is not members of Limp Bizkit.
This is confusing. It makes me want to break stuff.
I have a very tenuous connection, but I don't think it's going to work.
I want to hear this tenuous connection.
Yeah,
Okay,
go for it.
I was thinking of World War II generals between Bernard and Norman, but other than that, that didn't really get me anywhere.
I don't
That
remember
I
Jerry
do not.
something.
So
Are these little known office characters?
all right,
Andy
so
Bernard and a whole bunch of other people.
I'm gonna call
Famous
this one.
authors.
We're gonna put you guys down here because this is just too much.
We
We're
need
being
to be.
euthanized?
Dude, that's for this round. You are because
For the purposes of this round.
for the
yes.
purposes of the theme, I'm
Okay,
putting
wow.
you down. Right. So, Mason, I didn't expect you to be able to get to this because
Oh, boy.
it's movie based. But if I said the names Jeremy Gray, Wes Mantooth, Bernard Beanie Campbell, Fred Claus, or Freddie Funkhauser, Peter LaFleur, and Norman Bates.
It was Norman Bates. Yeah, they're Vince Vaughn characters.
Correct. So Jeremy Gray from Wedding Crashers, Wes Mantooth from Anchorman, Bernard Beanie Campbell from Old School, Fred Claus from Fred Claus, Freddie Funkhauser from Curb Your Enthusiasm, Peter LaFleur from Dodgeball, and Norman Bates from Psycho. Well, so no theme points, which is fine, because if you both got it, you'd had the same amount of points anyway. So we have some scores. After the second quarter, it is Trade Zion with 150 and Minnesota Wrecking Crew with 175, so the difference is the same. Just a little bit higher. Well, this brings us to halftime.
It is now time for the halftime show. There will be 3 entertainment questions. Each question is worth 25 points.
It's another edition of ChatGPT pre and post game. I asked ChatGPT to make up plots for movies based on the combination of 2 movies and or television shows, with at least one being about sports. Plot number 1. A driven female executive is tasked with saving a failing pro basketball team, but discovers the star players are part of an elite adrenaline-chasing crew pulling off elaborate heists during road trips. To keep the franchise alive, she infiltrates their world, balancing boardroom politics with underground crime. As the stakes rise on and off the court, she must decide where her loyalties lie, winning games or exposing the truth behind the stolen million.
Every time we get one of these, it sounds like the plot of a movie that's straight to Tubi.
All right, we'll check in.
Minnesota Wrecking Crew has checked in. So Trade Zion, you guys can talk it out.
Pass.
I mean, you can pass if you want to.
Scott will come up with something here in a moment.
We were already euthanized, so maybe we just didn't wake up. Yeah, I feel like Running Point, that Netflix show with Kate Hudson is the basketball part. I just know she's in like the front office of a basketball team. I have not watched it. Don't particularly care for Kate Hudson, so I probably won't watch it. So if that's the case, then like the only thing I have is like Running Point Break, and I don't think that's right. I've never seen Point Break. These guys are going to crucify me, but I feel like Point Break has like surfing or something in it.
Go with whatever you want. I don't care.
We're just going to check in with Running Point Break.
Okay. And Minnesota Wrecking Crew, what'd you have for an answer?
That's what we had for an answer too.
Both teams are getting their points because the correct answer is, in fact, Running Point Break. Point Break, surfing was one of the adrenaline chasing things. They also jumped out of planes, robbing a bank.
For some reason, I only associate that with surfing.
Plot 2 in today's halftime pre and post game. A trio of jaded Boston sports superfans stuck in midlife ruts sign up for a basketball fantasy ranch retreat by a mysterious former NBA great. Expecting courts and comfort, they instead find themselves herding cattle by day and facing full court presses under the desert stars by night. As they stumble through cowboy life and pick up games with washed-up legends, they confront their past regrets, rekindle old friendships, and rediscover what it means to truly love the game and themselves.
We're going to check in.
All right, Trade Zion is checked in, so Minnesota Wrecking Crew, you guys can talk it out.
Okay, it's so like you said, it's City Slickers.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely City Slickers. What was the Hall one you were talking about?
City Hall is about Boston, but it won't work though because that's two
No.
cities at the beginning.
Well, I was thinking Fever Pitch too for the jaded Boston fan. I put the Town Slickers.
Yeah, it's gonna be something city. It's gonna be something city is how this is gonna be.
Yeah,
Is there a television show, Boston Sports or something like that?
I'm trying to think. I mean, they did the Bill Russell thing.
I don't have anything. So
all
right, we're gonna bring out the special teams and punt this one.
All right. Yeah. Well, Minnesota Wrecking Crew is kicking this one away. Trade Zion, do you guys have an answer?
We do. It's not right, but we have one. Go ahead.
Well, certainly it's not right. Scott came up with Celtic Pride for the Boston part, and I came up with a fake cowboy movie, if it's not a real movie already. So our answer is going to be Celtic Pride Cowboy Ride.
Ride, cowboy, ride.
Cowboy Ride.
Hunting was a good move here.
Yeah, I think so.
I feel like City Slickers is definitely part of this.
Well, unfortunately, neither team is getting points. So the whole piece so this is a documentary, a very recent one, about Boston basketball. If you were going to use an alliterative name for a show leading into City Slickers, and it's about Boston basketball.
Celtic City
City Slickers. Correct.
Wow.
That is the answer.
You were close.
So I do believe it's on Max. If you have a subscription,
I know exactly what you're talking about.
You can go and watch. It's a documentary about the Celtics and their heyday, I do believe. Like the old heyday.
I know which one you're talking about. Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Celtic City Slickers. Whew.
All right.
Well, I don't have high hopes for 3. Let's see how it goes.
Awesome.
Great.
We're going to get this one.
Plot number 3. After missing consecutive PGA cuts, amiable rookie Mikey retreats to Vegas with his fast-talking buddy Trent and a ragtag crew of tour grinders. Between neon lounges, awkward romances, and late-night pep talks about being money on the greens, they hustle cash games against sharks, rediscover their confidence, and crash a desert pro-am where reputations and rent hang on one last blistering drive. Lessons in leadership, resilience, and self-belief prove every shot and every flirtation can change a life.
We'll check in.
All right. Minnesota Wrecking Crew has checked in. So, Trade Zion, you guys can talk it out briefly?
Nope, I'm good.
No.
Thank you for the opportunity. I'll pass again.
Yeah, we don't have this.
Do you have a particular punter you'd like to bring in to kick the ball away?
Mason, who's your favorite punter?
I mean, Thomas Morstead was here for such a long time.
All right, yeah. All right, Thomas Morstead's coming in.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, Minnesota Wrecking Crew, what do you have for an answer?
Okay. Funny enough, if this stays in the recording, if it stays in the recording, what I said, is this a Vince Vaughn vehicle? And Josh doesn't answer the question at all.
I knew that part.
Did you? I didn't even hear you say that.
Yeah, I did. I said right before you started. I said, "Is this a Vince Vaughn vehicle?" But it is. It's swingers, and I think I recall seeing another like golf documentary called Full Swing. So I think the answer to this is going to be Full Swingers, which is not at all what the description of what I thought Full Swingers would end up being. But
Hello.
Well, one team is getting the points because the correct answer is, in fact, Full Swingers.
Good one.
Don't look up full swingers, kids. Don't do that.
All right. Well, we have somehow survived my halftime, and we have some scores. Trade Zion's at 175 and Minnesota Wrecking Crews at 225. So still not out of hand. Maybe Trade Zion will be happy to know that today's third quarter will be Lucky 7.
Lucky 7. For this quarter, there will be 3 lists containing 7 items. The team that is trailing coming into the quarter will choose the first list and attempt to identify the items on this list one at a time. If the team has an incorrect guess, the other team can attempt to finish that list out. The team leading at the beginning of the quarter will select the second list, and whichever team is trailing after the first 2 lists will get the third list. Each item is worth 10 points. All right, so this is what's happening here.
Mason, would you consider yourself kind of one of those draft nuts like Scott
he
and
is.
Eve
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
good?
Oh, yeah.
Well, then this
Mason's
works
in the club.
because
Thank you.
today's Lucky 7 is for both Minnesota fans and draft nerds. So
Ooh,
these are
I like
3 lists that have to do with Minnesota and drafts.
All right.
I like this.
All right. List number 1 is the highest draft picks selected by the Minnesota Timberwolves. List 2 is the highest draft picks selected by the Minnesota Vikings since 2000. List 3, players drafted out of the University of Minnesota in the first round of the NBA draft since 1990. So those are the 3 lists for today's Lucky 7. So Trade Zion, take a moment here and decide which of the lists you would like to go after.
Okay, we're gonna take the Minnesota Vikings highest draft pick since 2000.
Okay. So Trade Zion's going to attempt to put together their list of the highest draft picks selected by the Minnesota Vikings since 2000. So why don't you guys take a few minutes and put together your list.
We're gonna go ahead and check in.
All right, Trade Zion has checked in. They're going to try to identify the highest draft picks selected by the Minnesota Vikings since 2000. So go ahead and let me know your first.
All right, we're gonna go with Adrian Peterson.
Adrian Peterson is tied for second. He was drafted number 7 in 2007.
Okay, well that makes you feel good. So the guy above him then has to be our second answer. Has a brother. I was just trying to remember all the details and finally landed on his name, Matt Khalil.
Matt Khalil is number 1 on the list because he was drafted number 4 overall in 2012.
So we're gonna go with this. I thought he was higher than. I thought he was top 5, but I guess he wasn't. But we're gonna go with him. We're gonna go Bryant McKinney.
Bryant McKinney he's tied for second. He was drafted number 7 in 2002.
And this is one of the first ones Scott came up with. So we're gonna go Troy Williamson.
As much as those of us from Minnesota don't want to think about him, also tied for second, Troy Williamson was drafted number 7 in 2005.
So next, because I was thinking about their high draft picks, and it's a very famous one because of the draft debacle. We're gonna go Kevin Williams.
Kevin Williams was drafted number 9 overall in 2003, so he is tied for 5th.
I think this is the guy tied with him. We're gonna go Anthony Barr.
Anthony Barr is tied for 5th. He was drafted number 9 in 2014.
All right, Scott. Then I think we're in the clear because this guy was drafted 10th. We're gonna go JJ McCarthy.
The only way it wouldn't work is if there was another tie for 5th, but there wasn't because number 7 is JJ McCarthy, who was drafted number 10 in 2024. So you guys have successfully identified all 7 of the highest draft picks by the Minnesota Vikings since 2000. After that, Trey Waynes. He was number 11 in 2015. Christian Ponder was 12 in 2011. Yep. Chad Greenway was a 17th pick, along with Dallas Turner was also 17. Erasmus James and Garrett Bradbury were 18th overall picks. Kanechi Udesi was
Inechi
number
Desi, I was
20.
going to say, yep.
And then two very good to great receivers were both drafted number 22 overall, and that's Percy Harvin and Justin Jefferson. So well done, guys.
It was stressful. We had so many names trying to parse through.
All right, let's
Well,
start working.
you identified the correct 7, so good job. So, Minnesota Wrecking Crew, of the other 2 lists, which one are you guys going to try to go after?
We're going to take the Wolves.
All right, so you are going to try to identify the highest draft picks selected by the Minnesota Timberwolves. All right, we'll take a few minutes and finalize your list, and let me know when you're ready to go.
I have a memory.
I'm good with it.
All right, we'll check in.
Good to me.
All right. Minnesota Wrecking Crew is checked in. They are about to attempt to identify the 7 highest draft picks selected by the Minnesota Timberwolves. So go ahead and let me know you're first.
All right, let's take the 2 number 1s off the board first.
To start with
Anthony
one of
Edwards.
Them. All right, Anthony Edwards is tied for first because, yes, he was drafted number 1 overall in 2020.
And Karl-Anthony Towns.
Karl-Anthony Towns tied for first, also drafted number 1 overall in 2015.
All right. Do we do the number 2?
Do the number 2.
Go ahead.
Derek Williams.
Third on the list, Derek Williams, who was drafted number 2 overall in 2011.
Okay.
Ugh, gross.
Then we're going to have Christian Laettner.
Tied for 4th on the list, Christian Laettner was drafted number 3 in 1992.
And then the other 3, I think, was O.J. Mayo.
Correct. Tied for 4th is O.J. Mayo, who was drafted number 3 in 2008 and was traded on draft night for Kevin Love.
And then I think there's a couple 4s as well. One of them is going to be Danielle Marshall.
Danielle Marshall is tied for 6th. He was drafted number 4 in 1994.
Finish it up, Dan.
Finally, my favorite pick that we made of number 4, Wesley Johnson.
Also tied for 6th, drafted number 4 in 2010, Wesley Johnson. You have successfully identified the top 7 picks. So they've had 7 top 4 picks. They've had 1, 2, 3, 4. They've had 5 number 5 picks: Isaiah Ryder, Kevin Garnett, Ray Allen, Ricky Rubio, and Chris Dunn. And they've had
Don't say number 6. Do not say the
they've
6th
had
one.
5.
Okay.
They've had 5 number 6.
Please
overall
tell us
picks.
who they are, Josh.
They are
Jarrett Culver?
Felton. They are Felton Spencer, Wally Zerbiak, Brandon Roy. Plug your ears, Dan, or take off your headphones.
Don't say his name.
Johnny Flynn and Jarrett Culver. Yes, Mason, you're correct.
That's the only 6 I could think of.
Well, since both teams successfully ran their lists, that means that Trade Zion, you guys get to first take a shot at identifying the players drafted out of the University of Minnesota in the first round of the NBA draft since 1990.
I think we're ready to check in.
Okay, so Trade Zion has checked in. They are going to try to identify the players drafted out of the University of Minnesota in the first round of the NBA draft since 1990.
I don't even know which one to go with first. Which one do I feel more confident in?
I don't care. I don't have nothing useful here.
Casey Jacobson. He's a white dude, and he's not on the list.
He is not on the list.
I should have went with the other one.
Oh, great. 0 points. Yeah.
So,
I mean, it's
unfortunately,
0 and 10 points isn't
you
a
have
big difference
identified
there.
0, and I guarantee you'll kick yourself with at least one of these names, Scott.
Oh, I have one. I know exactly who.
Okay.
He was my second guy.
All right, Minnesota Wrecking Crew, you guys can try to steal the whole list.
Dan, do you want me to lead off with that first one? Just out of
Go ahead. Go ahead.
the Jacobson you'd be referring to is Sam Jacobson.
Number 4 on the list, Sam Jacobson was drafted number 26 in 1998.
Keeping up with the Kardashians, Chris Humphries.
Chris Humphries is 7th on the list. He was drafted number 14 in 2004. That's the one I thought, Scott, you would have had right off the bat.
Well, you forgot about him.
Nope.
Socks up to your knees, Bobby Jackson.
That's the one I had.
Bobby Jackson was the number 2 on the list because he was drafted number 23 in 1997.
Can I go with one day?
Yeah, go ahead.
We're going Willie Burton.
Willie Burton is number 1 on the list. He was drafted number 9 in 1990 by the Miami Heat.
All right, here's the ones that Mason's going to have to come up with money for.
He just
I
did.
already have.
Willie
Okay,
Burton.
here we go. Joel Prisbilla.
Number 6th on the list is Joel Prisbilla, who's number 9, who was drafted number 9 in 2000. And I think he was just referenced not that long ago on the podcast.
Oh, he's a buck. He was a hawk. He actually had a decent career.
Damn. What?
What? We have 2 left.
You have 2 left.
All right. You got one, Colin, or you want me to keep going?
Sure, I'll go.
Okay.
How about Quincy Lewis?
Quincy Lewis is number 5 on the list. He was drafted number 19 in 1999.
Finish it
And
off, Dan.
finally, Minneapolis Roosevelt's own John Thomas.
That completes the list because John Thomas is number 3. He was drafted number 25, 2 picks after Bobby Jackson in 1997. You have correctly identified the 7 first-round picks out of the University of Minnesota. Royce Lewis played 1 game for the Gophers before he got suspended and then transferred to Iowa State, so he would not count for this list.
Royce White.
Royce White.
Not Royce Lewis. Royce Lewis is a shortstop when he isn't hurt. He's more an IL person than he is a shortstop. So sorry,
Royce White. Fair, Royce White and Royce Lewis are both IL people, so it works out pretty well.
And Royce White is he's in my FTG Rolodex, but yeah, that's more of a political thing for me, not so much a basketball thing. But we don't need to get into that.
Not to mention he has the fear of planes, so he always had to take buses everywhere he went to.
Big 3 legend, Royce White.
Other notable Gophers drafted into the NBA. We have Michael Thompson, who was number 1 overall in 1978. Jim Brewer, number 2 overall in 1973. Kevin McHale, number 3 overall in 1980. Trent Tucker, number 6 overall in 1982. Randy Brewer, number 18 overall in 1983. And other notables not in the first round, but Bud Grant was drafted 47th overall in 1950, and Dave Winfield was drafted number 79 overall in 1973. Number 79, there were 79 draft picks, and there were way less teams. I think it was like a 7th rounder. So, lots of rounds. Well, good job, teams. You guys didn't let any names go by. So let's check on the score here. Things might be slipping away a little bit. We have Trade Zion is at 245, and Minnesota Wrecking Crew is at 365. And that brings us to the 4th quarter.
The 4th quarter, known as Put Your Fours Up. This quarter consists of 4 categorized questions that teams will wager up to 100 points each, not to exceed their current point total.
The categories for today are as follows. Question 1. The name's Johnny Utah, in reference to the NBA. Question 2. I'm 39 and I'm saying moo cow in a river, in reference to the NFL. Question 3. I'm going to make Gretzky's head bleed for Superfan 99 over here, in reference to the NHL. And question 4, hashtag too much Minnesota, in reference to Major League Baseball. It is now time for the teams to place their wagers.
We'd like to take a minute to invite you to follow us on Facebook,
Instagram, and Twitter at BenchwarmersTP. We also have a Facebook group for fans of the pod called The Bench. Join us there to comment on the latest episodes and share cool sports facts and trivia. If you'd be willing to rate and review us on iTunes or Stitcher, we'd greatly appreciate the support so that other people may find this podcast. Thanks.
Now that the wages are in, on to the questions. Question 1, in the category of the name's Johnny Utah. While John Stockton is the career leader in assists by more than 3,300 assists, he is second in assists per game behind what fellow Hall of Fame point guard?
Let's check that in.
All right, Minnesota Wrecking Crew is checked in, so Trade Zion, you guys can talk it out. Let me know your answer and your wager.
I think it's like Oscar Robertson, someone like that.
That
It's gonna be
didn't
someone
play
who big
as
assist
long of a
number, like
career.
big assist per game numbers. And so I would think someone who averaged certainly like over 10,
Yeah.
right? Like I don't think it's like Jason Kidd though, because he wasn't like a 14 assist per game type guy. He was like right around 10. Same with like Steve Nash, but I don't
Yeah.
think so because his early like seasons he wasn't playing much, so his assist per game was probably pretty low. I'm sure it's like an older point guard, the most like maybe like Tiny Archibald. I know he like
Yeah.
was a big assist.
What about Isaiah Thomas?
I was thinking Isaiah Thomas. Yeah, he was kind of on my short list as well. He didn't play as long.
Yeah, that's why I'm just trying to think of not as long of a career,
Yeah.
but prolific while.
Yeah, I feel pretty good about Isaiah Thomas. He didn't play very long. And I mean, he had a lot of good scorers around him on the bad boy teams. Like they moved the ball well.
All right, I guess that's what we're gonna go with. So we'll go with Isaiah Thomas for 80 points.
Okay, and Minnesota Wrecking Crew, what did you guys have for an answer and a wager?
Dan, do you want me to call it out? You can
Yeah,
call
go
a
ahead.
wager.
We wagered 34.
And we're going to go with Magic Johnson.
One team is getting their points. The correct answer is Irvin Magic Johnson. Magic averaged 11.19 assists per game to Stockton's 10.51. They are the only two players who averaged more than 10 assists per game for their careers. Trae Young, Oscar Robertson, Isaiah Thomas, Chris Paul, and Kevin Johnson have assists per game rates between 9 and 10.
Pretty sure Stockton passed Magic in total number of assists, right?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
If
he
That's
played
what it says in
longer.
the question.
Right. he has
By
by 33.
3,300.
No,
he's
no.
number
I
one.
mean, I think he was number one when
Yes.
Still
Yeah,
is
yeah.
when he
number one, I
passed it,
believe.
is what I'm saying. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Unless LeBron passed him, but I don't think he did yet.
No, nobody else has passed. I
Right.
mean, Stockton is still
Right.
number one by
For
33.
total, for total.
I think number 2 right now is Chris Paul.
Yeah, I think Chris Paul's too.
Chris Paul. Okay.
But I don't see him playing long enough to get 3,300 more assists. Well, let's move on to question number 2. Don't really have to talk about the scores. That's fine. We're good. All right, question 2 in the category of I'm 39 and I'm saying moo cow in a river. What Hall of Fame running back who won 2 Super Bowls and was named MVP of Super Bowl 8 wore the number 39 for both of the teams he played for during his 11-year career?
We can check in.
Have a thought.
All right.
I spelled it
Trade
wrong.
Zion, you guys can talk it up. Let me know your answer and your wager.
What do you think?
Scott,
What's your thought?
Okay, I think because this running back, I think wore that number, and I was thinking Super Bowl 8 for some reason. Miami got in my head because they won Super Bowl 7 was their undefeated season, so I think they
Okay,
also
that
won
makes sense.
8.
Yeah.
So Larry Zonka would make
They
sense.
did go back to back, and Zonka was my first thought too. So
And he also played for the Giants. And I think he did still wear 39 for them. His Giants career was not really notable. Other than he was the running back when they had the miracle at the Meadowlands. He was the one they were trying to give it to. All right, we'll go with that for 80.
All right. And Minnesota Wrecking Crew, what do you guys have for an answer and a wager?
Go ahead, Colin. You got this one.
Larry Zonka.
For how many points?
For
Yeah.
33.
All right. Well, both teams are getting their points. The correct answer is Larry Zonka. And did you know that Larry Zonka was a commentator for the original run of American Gladiators?
That is correct.
And Too Much Minnesota, Super Bowl 8 was number 2 loss for the Vikings.
All right.
We don't need to bring that up.
It's too late.
Time has passed. We're
Not
okay.
healed wounds.
All
Not
right.
healed wounds.
Question number 3 in the category of I'm going to make Gretzky's head bleed for Superfan 99 over here. What enforcer was known as Wayne Gretzky's bodyguard when they played together for the Edmonton Oilers and Los Angeles Kings?
We'll check in.
All right, Minnesota Wrecking Crew is checked in. So Trade Zion, you guys can talk it out. Let me know if you have an answer and what your wager is.
I think we're just going to give a recap of what we sent each other. So Scott sent nope, and I said same. And I think that's pretty fitting for what we have.
So you're talking about the great enforcer Nöpe Same?
Maybe. It's Sah-may,
Yes.
pronounced Sah-may.
Noo-pay Sah-may.
Nöpe Same.
Wow, is that a French Canadian name?
Yeah. Yeah, you know,
I think it's Finnish.
Yeah, he played for the Oilers and the Kings.
It's
You know,
two
Gretzky
A's
was-
with an umlaut
Yeah,
on top
yeah.
of one of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
German. I like it.
You want to check that in? Nöpe Same.
Sure. And we had 5 on it as an homage to triviality.
Yeah.
So that's what we checked in with for 5
loonies.
points.
All right, I'm putting the umlaut over the O.
Okay,
So
that's
it
fine.
actually
too.
pronounced Noo-pay Sah-may.
Nöpe.
All right.
You went with the Oakland 5 on that?
Yeah.
The
Oh.
Oakland Seals 5?
All right.
we did.
Minnesota Wrecking Crew, what'd you guys have for an answer and a wager?
And give the amount.
We wagered 26 on this one.
And my head is telling me Marty McSorley.
Well, you should trust your head because the correct answer is Marty McSorley.
Trace's uncle.
Grace's dad. Oh, okay, that works too.
McSorley is number 4 on the career penalty minutes list behind only Tiger Williams, Dale Hunter, and Ty Domi. So he went and got
Something
himself
to be
plenty
proud
of
of.
penalties when anybody looked at
Something
Gretzky
to be
wrong.
proud of. Where's Bob Probert on that list, too?
I'm not sure. I only
He's
listed
gotta
the
be high
next
up there.
3.
Okay.
Okay, well, that brings us to our final question in the game. And not only is it hashtag too much Minnesota, but this might be the most wheelhouse question for a guest that's ever been written. In the category of too much Minnesota.
It's going to be just his name, right? He's the answer to the question.
Just he'll be able to explain why this is. Colin will be able to explain why. So question 4 in the category of hashtag too much Minnesota. What 2 Hall of Famers who both graduated from Cretin-Derham Hall High School in St. Paul, Minnesota, were both part of the Minnesota Twins organization from 2015 to 2018?
Oh, I got this, Dan.
Yeah, I'm sure you do.
I think Dan probably has it as well. Just want to put that out there. You want to check in right now?
We'll check in.
All
We're
right.
going to check that one in for sure.
Okay. Minnesota Wrecking Crew, not surprisingly, checked in immediately. So Trade Zion, you guys can talk it out.
There's no way for us to try and get this.
Who named a high school after a Cretan? First off, I feel like why would you name it after that? Anyway, why were they part of the organization?
They could have been in the front office. They could have been
Joe Mauer.
You know,
he's a Minnesota guy, right? Sure. I don't know.
Probably that makes sense. He would be in the organization. Sure.
So
how do we even pick a second person?
Pick another Minnesota guy.
I don't know them. I don't pay attention to them.
So I guess they're coaches or like execs.
Yeah, execs. Yeah, coaches. Yeah, I don't.
I mean, I think if you took 2 seconds to think about it, you'd maybe
Hall of Famers.
All right, well, I wasted the 2 seconons. Now what?
Follow that line of thinking, the coaching part.
I don't know who coached there.
Paul Molitor.
Wasn't he? When I tell you I haven't watched a Minnesota Twins baseball game from start to finish, I don't think ever in my life. So I have no clue.
You don't necessarily have to have watched to know who a manager is.
Oh, it's a manager. Paul Molitor. It's Molitor and Mahler. We're checking in Molitor and Mahler for 80 points.
80, sure.
All right. With a little assist. Colin, you want to give your answer and wager and maybe why this was perfectly catered to you?
Oh, I have zero doubt that I can do this for you. Dan, what was our wager?
We wagered 33 on this one.
And Scott, you were correct. It is Joe Mauer and Paul Molitor. And the reason why it really falls into my wheelhouse is because I went to Cretin-Durham Hall High School, and I played baseball at Cretin-Durham Hall High School. So I did know that Joe was a freshman when I was a senior. So I knew that pretty easily.
So both teams.
But thank you, Mason, for your Cretin comment, though. I appreciate that. It's a private school. It's okay. I'm getting there. It's fine.
So both teams are getting their points. The correct answers are Paul Molitor and Joe Mauer. St. Paul is also hometown to two other Major League Baseball Hall of Famers. Dave Winfield, who went to St. Paul Central High School, and Jack Morris, who went to Highland Park High School. So I figured I had to give more Minnesota flavor text within #TooMuchMinnesota. So when I saw, Colin, that on your Facebook profile that you went to Cretin, I thought that seems to be an appropriate way to finish this one out.
You could have thrown Ryan McDonough in there too, the hockey player, but hey, or Matt Burke or
that's
Michael Floyd.
So
there's been a lot of high school guys.
There have, we don't need to get into your private school and how well they've been recruiting players to come play for them. We don't need to go to there.
They're better than Edina, though.
I am the least private school person you'll ever meet. I promise you that.
Well, the game has come to an end, and I'm sure Mason and Scott are pleased about that. But Trade Zion did finish with 320 points, and our clipboard captains of the game, who are receiving the coveted from Cretin-Durham Hall Chris Winkie Award with 491 points, is the Minnesota Wrecking Crew. And I know that Chris Winkie was used a while back, but I had to use him because he went to Cretin-Durham Hall. So
he did.
So, Colin, is there anything that you would like to say before we call it a night?
Well, I love the invite to the show. It was a lot of fun. I had a good time with it. I'd love to be on it again at some point. And Dan, is so nice to even have half of the Horsemen together. We once again are continuing our reign.
Play our music.
It's time to play. It's time to play the theme from 2001: Space Odyssey right about now, because that's usually what we would walk off with when we were at Fridays. Unfortunately, we will not be getting any post-dated $100 gift cards from TGI Fridays in Roseville because they no longer exist.
Nor will you be getting any $100 gift card of any type from Benchwarmer.
It doesn't matter. It's ceremonial at this point, Josh. It's all ceremonial.
Hey, you get the virtual coveted Chris Winkie Award for clipboard captain, so that's what you get.
And for Mason, Saints legend Steve Walsh was also from Cretin-Durham Hall.
I think he's also been used, as a clipboard captain as well.
Probably.
So. All right. Anybody else got anything they want to say real quick before we go?
I do. I just want to say thank you for coming on, Colin. This was, I don't play very often anymore. And when I heard that you wanted to come on, I said, absolutely, let's get you on. I will come on and we'll play with you. I'm honored to have you as a teammate for a long time and to come back and run it again this time. So again, thank you for coming on, and absolutely, we'll get you back on again.
Lovely.
All right. Well, on behalf of Dan, Mason, Scott, the rest of the Benchwarmers, and myself, we'd like to say thanks for listening to the Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast. And until next time, we'll keep the bench warm.
That ball hit high and deep. Stretch! Get on back there. They look up. You can put it on the board. Yes!
Into deep left center for Mitchell, and we'll see you tomorrow night.
That great music you're listening to is by Justin Nozick. Thanks to him for producing that music for us. You've been listening to the Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast. Make sure to check us out on all of our social media. We are at Benchwarmers TP.